Hello again. It is Monday, October the 19th. If you need these for notes or whatever, they're here. Let's go through the lesson today. We talked about the common sense written by Thomas Paine and also the First Continental Congress. So in the Google Classroom, you need to do the warm up. I'm going to be taking those for a grade this week. So make sure you're doing the warm ups and then common sense notes, and they'll look like this. Of course, mine are completed, but yeah, they'll look like this. Let's get on with it. So you need to know the way that they went by, or how each thing happened leading up to the American Revolution. This is just a quick review that you can do. And so Thomas Paine wrote this thing called Common Sense. And what common sense is something everybody should know. Like the grass is green, the sky is blue. If you touch a stove when it's hot, you're going to get burned. And so Thomas Paine believed, like, hey, it's common sense that we need to break away from England, that we need to completely and totally just say goodbye to England. And the reason why, he was a recent immigrant from England, and so he knew what it was like to be an Englishman in England, and he also knows what it's like to be an Englishman in the colonies. And he noticed this, that, hey, we're being abused here in the colonies. We have no taxation without representation. We do not give them consent. They have the intolerable acts that are absolutely ruining Massachusetts. And I think it's about time that we, completely and totally break away from England. There's also some things that we have talked about, not read, but you can read these in your notes if you'd like to. And I do give you the translation for them, like what does it mean in today's language, and so you can look at these. But I'll give you time to do that later in the video. You can pause it. And then we talked about the First Continental Congress. And basically, these guys got together and they're like, well, we don't necessarily want to go to war with England. We want to give them at least one more chance, but they need to get rid of these intolerable acts. And if they don't, then we might have to make a decision whether or not to declare independence. And so they got together, and a lot of the guys, a lot of names you know. John Adams, he agreed to defend the British troops that were involved in the Boston Massacre. Samuel Adams, he was the leader of the Boston Sons of Liberty. Patrick Henry's a new name. We'll talk about him more later. He was an anti-federalist or a Democratic Republican when it's all said and done. And then George Washington. So what they decided to do is, hey, let's not go to war yet. What we're going to do is we're going to boycott all British goods until they remove the intolerable acts. Maybe England will reform their behavior. But what this actually did is this made England even madder. And so they're like, hey, and then if it doesn't quite work out the way it's supposed to work out, then we need to create a militia. And basically, a militia is like an army made up of ordinary citizens, just regular everyday guys, not regular soldiers, but just ordinary citizens. And so, because they're ordinary citizens, we had these guys called Minutemen, and they had to be ready to fight in 60 seconds. So basically, if you're sitting there, you're working on your farm, and they give the signal or ride by and say, hey, it's time to go, then you would have to drop everything you're doing and be ready within a minute and join the other guys in the militia and go at it. And so they knew, like, hey, let's give them another chance. But if they don't, we need to prepare, because England is the most powerful, most organized army in the whole world. They don't lose war very often, and they're going to come after us because the colonies is worth a lot of money to England, and so we need to be ready for it. So 3 things you need to know. Number 1, Common Sense was written by Thomas Paine, and he believed it was common sense that we needed to break away from England. Number 2, you need to know the First Continental Congress. They came up with 2 things. Number 1, boycott all British goods until the intolerable acts are removed. If that doesn't work, then we need to make sure to create a militia, because if not, then I think we're about to go to war. So that's that. We're going to have a test on Thursday. Tomorrow we're going to start our review, and on Wednesday we're going to finish that review. And so we hope that you guys come back to class, and we are going to go at it and have a test on Thursday. So other than that, we hope to see you soon. Have a great day.